be made accessible to wider audience, wider reader and participants. So a very good evening to the panelists and the participants. So I'll try to keep my talk short, as we have already lost few minutes of our scheduled time. At the end, I'll keep some time for question answering so that we can interact with each other, right? So let me share my screen. So I hope my slides are visible. Dr. Uniqueness, if you can, please let me know whether the slides are visible.
Yes, sir, they are visible. We can start.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you. So I welcome you on my talk on NDLI in Indian languages. So for those who are not acquainted with NDLI, NDLI is National Digital Library of India. So this project or this particular asset, this is a national asset that has been developed under the kind of edges of Ministry of Education, and it started back in 2015. The primary goal was to collect educational materials or different kind of reading materials together in different languages so that they can be made accessible to the world, and in particular in the Indian context. So, to proceed on the technical part, so let me start with a story, which is a story of Tower of Babel. So it is a story from the origin myth. So it is a kind of story from the Genesis. It is a biblical story. So the story goes like this. So there was a point of time, all the human being in the world, they used to communicate using a single language. So they used to talk to each other in a single language. There was no different languages, right? Now, after the Great Flood, they moved to the eastern part of the world, and there they came to the Mount of Sinai, where they tried to build a city, a magnificent city, and tried to build a tower so that they can reach heaven. So the tower would be like as tall as they can reach to the heaven. But you know, the God was not that happy with the idea. So what he did, he confounded the language of the different people. So so they are talking in a same language, but now they're not talking in the same language. They're talking in different languages. And the primary idea was if they talk in different languages, they will not be able to communicate with each other, and they will not be coordinating with each other. And finally, they will not be able to build a tower. So that was the idea God was having. So according to the biblical story, so this is the kind of genesis of having multiple language, and that is the reality, right? So we talk in different languages. And if we talk about India, India is a kind of one of the uniqueness of India is that we are having different languages, we are having different cultures, and they are coexisting in a very good harmony, right? So this has been well captured by one of the greatest philosophers that have ever been produced by West Bengal, in West Bengal. So he goes by the name Atul Prasad Sen. And I'll just read out a Bengali text and try to translate that in English. And that will give us a sense of how we are varied in our tongue, we are varied in our culture, we are varied in our mindset, but we have a great unity among us, right? So, so Bengali text goes by this: Nana bhasha, nana mot, nana poridhan, bibidher maje dekho milano mohan. So the English translation of that goes like this: varied are tongues and varies each race, amid it a unity, what a great grace. So the reality is that we have got multiple language, and that is a quite bit of challenge while we are talking about providing a central facility where the readers can come in and try to quench their thirst of knowledge by reading through the materials that are being hosted in a place, right? So let me try to understand what are the kind of difficulties or challenges that we might be having. So the first difficulty that might be coming in while we are interacting with the system, because we are talking in different languages, we are communicating in different language, and we want the system that we are interacting, that should be also in the language that I am convenient with as an user, right? The other part is I should have books, I should have materials, reading materials that are in my own language, so that I can study the kind of literature or study different things in my own language. So these are the kind of challenges that we have. So with that challenge with us, so National Digital Library of India has come up with the concept of one library, all of India, where we are having one library, but this library is accommodating almost all the languages that we are we have in India at least, but in other languages as well. So let me take you through NDLI in Indian languages. So the vision of NDLI, I'll just give a brief about basics of NDLI, then move to the language part of it. So the basic vision is to build up National Digital Library of India as a national knowledge and cultural asset. And this national knowledge or cultural asset should be a key driving force for education, research, cultural heritage, innovation, and knowledge sharing in India. So basically, this should be a kind of media by which the education, the innovation, the cultural heritage, all these dimensions of India can be enriched. So our mission is to create a 24/7 enabled, integrated, ubiquitous digital knowledge source. And we need to protect and preserve the Indian cultural and academic and scientific heritage. So that is the kind of broad mission that we have in the NDLI design. So our motto is to have an open system and inclusive system. Open in the sense, it should be open to embrace every culture. It should be open to embrace every language. It should be open to include every level of users, right? So that is the kind of openness, or that is the kind of inclusiveness that we are talking about, right? So NDLI is available in different forms. So there is a kind of web portal by which the NDLI can be accessed, and there are mobile apps in both Android as well as iOS, so they can be downloaded, and they are being downloaded and widely used by people across India. So let me try to summarize what NDLI is. NDLI is a single window multilingual search and access system. So there is no need to visit individual websites to find out, say, lecture note, then video lectures. So all those, all those can be put together in a single platform, so that the learners or the users can be having an integrated view of the things. So it covers the entire spectrum of learning, starting from the primary to the highest level of like lifelong learners, and it encompasses all domains of education, all disciplines of education. It captures multimedia contents, and it has got the personalization feature by which the users can filter and see the documents as per their requirement. And there are certain cases where some of the resources that have been nationally licensed, and those nationally licensed resources are made accessible to the users without any payment or any kind of cost incurred. Right? So as far as the data is concerned, so this data is bit outdated. We have progressed much. So we have around 9,000 plus participating institutions who are kind of providing data to us, and also they're having ties with us, NDLI, to enrich different parts of NDLI as well as their endeavors. So there are around 12 lakhs of mobile app downloads and daily hits. They are increasing day by day. And let me tell you, during this Corona period, the access of NDLI has seen a very huge boost. And that really is a kind of testimony how these kind of resources are important while we are stuck at home, while we have been compelled to work from home and learning from home, right? So as far as the contents are concerned, there are quite a bit of range that NDLI covers, like institutions of schools and higher educations. And from there, we can think about lecture slides, video, class notes, term papers, assignments, questions, question banks of different exams, and their model answers as well. So there is another vertical which we call as research and professional institutions like central and state universities. So there the thesis published by the students, guided by the faculty member, publications by the faculty members, they are accessible. And you know that that kind of knowledge sharing culture will help in different types of collaborations, as well as progressing the state of knowledge to a greater dimension. And there are open contributions from different institutions like database, data sets, manuscripts, painting, sculpture. So all those varied kind of contents are available through National Digital Library of India. So to state a few, so this slides more or less captures what are the kind of contents that are available in National Digital Library of India. So it is for the users from schools, users from colleges who are engaged in professional activities, academics and the researchers, edupreneurs also, they are part of NDLI in some way or other. And of course, needless to say that reading has got no age. So for the lifelong learners, it is a kind of wealth of knowledge, or it is a kind of sea of knowledge one can dive in. So the core of design of NDLI lies in metadata, right? And metadata is basically structured information about the contents, and that structured information about the content is used to present the materials in the NDLI system, right? To present as well as organize the materials in the NDLI system. Now, while we talk about language, so this metadata plays a very important role to first of all to understand in which language the resource is in, and if the resource is in a kind of in a particular language, whether we can use artificial intelligence or natural language processing techniques to extract metadata out of the documents automatically. So let me tell you why this is required. So if you think about NDLI, it's a very huge resource. It is having almost 6 crore plus contents indexed in this repository. Now, indexing these huge amount of content requires a huge amount of metadata curation. So metadata curation is basically for a given material, whether I can tell about different facets of the content. For example, who is the author, what are the subject domains the content belongs to, whether I can have a nice summary of the content. Now, for all the materials that we can find, for them these metadata are not well described in several places. So one way to resolve this issue is to have this metadata annotated by the experts, human experts. But you know that if we employ human experts to do that, or engage human experts to do that, this will take huge amount of time because it is very time and knowledge intensive. Now, we have used in some part or other to use natural language processing techniques to infer, for example, what are the subject domains the particular resource belongs to, whether we can extract summary or whether we can extract many other information from other sources, right? So there is quite a bit of research going on in this direction. So and another facet that, or another initiative that we have started quite a bit of time, is to engage with user using or through NDLI clubs. So we are setting up clubs in collaboration with the institutions in different places in India to carry on activities like, say, Read India Mission or other activities, right? So these club activities, they are targeted to realize the Read India mission by inculcating the reading and content sharing habit among learners. So the basic idea is that the learners, they will be enriched from the digital library. Now, as they are getting enriched, they can produce new materials, new resources out of their own intellectual capacity, and as well as the knowledge that is already there. And the production from the users, they can share that those materials with the others through the library. So we are in a kind of learn, share, and grow cycle. So that is the kind of aim that we have in the this NDLI club. Now, if we talk about NDLI in Indian languages, so there are three facets. One is whether we can provide interfaces in different Indian languages. So that is the first question that you need to answer. Whether we can provide facilities to search or access the repository in multiple languages, multiple Indian languages. And finally, whether the user can get access to contents that are there in different Indian languages. So I'll take you through these three verticals one by one. So let me first focus on the interfaces. So as far as the current state of affairs is concerned, so there are around 11 languages, including English, in which NDLI interfaces are available. So as you can see in the slide, this interface is in Malayalam language, but you can change it to other languages as well. So the user can change based on his or her own choice, right? So from Malayalam interface, I can go to Hindi interface or Bengali interface or English interface. So that is quite easy to do. Now the second thing is that, so this example that I'm showing is to access the contents based on the subjects. Now the subjects in NDLI have been organized into hierarchy. So we have a very generic level subject in the top level. So first level we have, for example, Prakritik Vigyan or Ganit. Then we have got the second level. So maybe physics will be in the second level. And in the third level, we can have, like, say, magnetism, right? Now, under each category, you can see that there are different sets of contents that are available in, say, natural language and mathematics. Or if you go further down, you can restrict it into, say, domain of physics, or you can restrict it more to, say, magnetism domain, right? And you know that these all interfaces, they are available in all these 11 languages. And again, we are trying to broaden this list so that these interfaces or NDLI can be accessed by other languages as well, right? So this is another example where you can browse the National Digital Library of India by learning resource types. For example, you want to look for the questions or the solutions or the books, say, in Oriya. So you can go in like this. Now, so this is the interface part. Let me go to the search interface part, right? Now, in NDLI, whenever we are trying to access something, the best way to access the things, unless you have very specific goal in mind, is to do search. So you can see that there is a search box here. So here you can go for search, right? So here we have search for, say, mathematics, right? Now, though we have typed in English, but you can see that the results that we have got in Bengali, so we have got the results in different languages, but what we have done here, we have used the filter, say, Bengali. We want to see the contents that are available in Bengali only. Now, if you click on Bengali, then you can see all the mathematics contents that are under Bengali, they will be presented to you, right? So you can also search using the Indian languages. For example, here I have used, say, Mahatma Gandhi to be our search goal, right? So as we have typed in, you can see that all the contents related to Mahatma Gandhi, they have been presented to the user. So this, we presently have implemented Hindi, Bengali, and English, and again we are trying to include other languages. So actually, in the upcoming version, we are going to have, we have already experimented with multiple languages, and we are going to release a version where the search will be available in other languages apart from Hindi, English, and Bengali. So again, this is another search by which where I have tried to search, say, for Sahitya. And you can see that though we have searched with Hindi, you can see that one English document which is related to, say, Sahitya or literature, it has come as an as a result in the page. So the point is, though you're searching with one language, search string from one language, the contents, they are presented in other languages where the search string relates to, right? So here, this is another example. We have tried to search for, say, Rabindranath Kavita. So we are trying to search for the poems of the great poet Rabindranath Tagore. So you can see that all the poems, they have been listed here. Now, coming to content, so the contents are available in many languages. So it is we have not really kept count. So we have the statistics, but at this point of time, it's around more than 100 or 150 languages on which we have the contents in the NDLI, right? So this is the content available in Malayalam language. So what you can see here, so this is the content from SCERT Kerala board. I think this is a book, and the chapters of the book are listed here. So you can move to one chapter from another, being in another chapter. So that will give you one integrated reading experience where you have got all the chapters together for a particular book, and also you can focus on a particular chapter. And this is a content again presented in Gujarati language, and you can see that this is content from Gujarat Secondary and Higher Secondary Education Board. This content is structured in different chapters, and the title of the chapters are appearing in the right panel. And if you click on one of the chapters, the system will take you to that particular chapter. And again, Sanskrit, which is a very important language and very prestigious language if we talk about India, and whole world is talking about Sanskrit. So the contents, they are available in Sanskrit as well. So this is an example picked up from Punjab School Education Board, and there are plenty of contents written in Sanskrit as well. And there are kind of set of cultural heritage contents, those are available in different Indian languages. For example, this content talks about the activities of great poet Rabindranath Tagore in Shillong. So this is a kind of very unique content that might be very interesting for certain segments of users, right? And again, this has been donated by Presidency Alumni Association, Kolkata. So they have very unique contents with them, and they have been generous enough to contribute this. So this is a kind of glimpse of what NDLI has in its repository. And again, it's a very short introduction, but you'll get to know it better if you directly go into NDLI and try to see what are the kind of languages in which, whether the content that you are thinking about in your own language, that those are available here or not. And again, if you find a disconnect, you are welcome to write to us so that we can accommodate based on certain other thing, right? So if we talk about language-wise distribution, so here we have the representation of Bengali, Hindi, Sanskrit, Urdu, Telugu, Tamil, Gujarati, Marathi, Kannada, Malayalam, Assamese, Odia. So you can see that all languages has got the representation. But one point that we really struggling with, that the distribution of the contents in different languages is really skewed. So we need to really work upon this, so that we have a fair distribution of the contents in the repository. But again, for that I'll seek the help of the participants, user, or other stakeholders who can point us to the contents that are available in their own language. So that in that case, but as a community, we can grow. So you can tell us what are the contents that are available in your languages, so that we can index those in the NDLI repository, and that will in turn help the other members in the community to get access to the contents. So some of the future initiatives that we are taking up, and we are working on this regularly. So the interfaces, we want to have it available in other languages for which it is not available at this point of time. As I have talked about, so search is available in fewer languages, and we have already set up the technology for making it available in other languages. And of course, we should ensure the uniformity in content distribution. And again, I'll seek your help to help us in ensuring this uniformity by letting us know whether there are very useful contents in your community in your language. So whenever we are talking about language specific interface, so there also the users, they can be participating by helping us to translate the user interface elements. Those are written in text form, and translate those elements in their own language, so that we can directly include them in the system. So for example, if for a particular language X, the NDLI interface is not available, so some members of that linguistic community, they can come forward and let us know that what would be the translation of different elements in the user interface in NDLI, so that we can include them in the system. As far as the language specific content is concerned, we need help of the users. They can point us to the contents that are available in their own language, as well as we need help of renowned organizations who are working to preserve the contents of a particular language, and they can come forward and provide us pointers to the resources as well. So also there are certain kind of set of research that are we have taken up, like to retrieve information from the digitized books. So the digitized books are like the books that have been scanned, but they are not born digital, right? Now to search from them is not a very easy task, because one way to do that is to perform, say, optical character recognition, and then find out that corresponding text from the particular content and make that text available for search, right? But for all the Indian languages, we do not have good OCRs or optical character recognizers that can help us to get us the text part of the document, right? So we have done work on this information retrieval on digitized books for the Indian languages in collaboration with IIIT Hyderabad, and we are in a process of integrating these outcomes in the NDLI system. So, so what are the kind of activities as user, the community member of the community you can take up? You can help us in translating quality contents in your languages, in your respective languages. You can recommend quality contents in your own language so that they can be indexed in NDLI. And you can contribute original teaching learning material. So nowadays you see for the pandemic, the teachers, they are creating contents in their own language to teach the students in online mode. So we are open to index them into NDLI system, and you can contribute directly to us so that they can be made available to the other students who have not the access to the contents that you have developed. So, so with that motive, the NDLI clubs have been set up, and NDLI club is working with the institution and the users to bring their outcomes or bring their contents in the NDLI platform and close the circle of learn, share, and grow. So I think with this, I'll stop here, and I like to take up any question that might be coming up in your mind. So thank you very much for your kind attention. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for this wonderful presentation. So participants, if you have any questions, kindly put it in the chat box. I think there is already one question that has come in. How NDLI can benefit us during this, especially the librarians during this COVID times? So that's a question from Ms. Urvashi Bhatt.
Okay. So,
sir, you may want to stop sharing your screen because that is...
give me a second.
Sure, no problem. Yes.
So library, so can you please repeat the question? So I was just...
How can NDLI help during this pandemic time, especially for the library professionals?
Okay, thank you. So it's a very interesting question. So actually, I'll say that there are two directions of this question. One direction is that if you think about a library in an institution, so the libraries in different institutions, they vary on their coverage based on several factors. I'm not going to the factors, but some of the libraries, they are populated with many number of books, many number of resources. But some of the libraries, they may not be having adequate infrastructure to have the books, right? So this is one part. The other part is, even though the books are there, the books are not in digital form, right? But at this point of time, the learners, they need to have access to the books and the resources. So what the librarian, they can do, they can popularize NDLI or take NDLI to the respective learners in their institutions so that they can get access to the contents directly from NDLI, which are there in the digital form, right? So the librarians, they have a huge role to play to take NDLI to the end users. So this is one particular direction that I can think of. And I think in that way, NDLI can help the librarians. The help is like this: the librarians now can provide access to the resources to the learners of the institutions, even though the physical library is closed, right? Given the constraint that we have. So this is one direction. The other direction is that the librarians, they can help NDLI to grow also. They can also tell that for the learners, for the learners of their institution, so these are the resources, they are very useful, whether NDLI can index those contents, right? Or they can say directly that, see, these are the contents, those are available in digital form. why don't you index those in NDLI? So I think there are two directions of the story, and we can play our part respectively. I hope that answers the question.
So the next question is from Ms. Sapna. Her question is, please let me know whom I have to contact for help in content in different languages.
Okay, I think Dr. Vignesh, can you type in Nan's email ID?
Sure.
I think so. Dr. Vignesh will type in an email ID, and you can contact directly to him. He is the CTO of NDLI, and we'll be very happy if you can point to us the resources that will be you think that will be useful, and we'll try to see whether they can be included in NDLI.
So next question is from Mr. Nakum Divyesh. Does NDLI provide audiobooks?
Yes, yes. So there is a kind of huge list of audiobooks that are present in NDLI. So you can search, and so there are various ways to get access to those. So first you can search for the topic, and you can go to, say, I think content type or learning resource type. So there you have the filter whether you want one audio book as your result. So that is one way. So the other way is to go to, say, let me check, go to by type, browse by type. Yeah, so if you go to browse by type, you can see that there is a kind of audio button. If you click on that, you can get access to the audio contents.
So the next question is from Mr. Hanumant Prakash Deshmukh. It's more of a suggestion. So what he says is, can NDLA extend its outreach with regional languages by mutual agreement with institutes like State Council for Educational Research and Technology, or teaching and literary institutes in the states?
Actually, that point is very well taken. This exercise we have already started. You can see that almost majority of the state boards, they are on board with NDLI, and we are in constant touch with the state authorities to see whether we can have regional contents integrated in NDLI. So that process we have already taken up. So, but again, thank you for the suggestion.
So the last question is again from Mr. Hanuman Prakash Deshmukh. How can teachers and students can contribute to NDLI?
I think Dr. Vignesh is the best person to answer this, because he drives the NDLI Club initiative. And in NDLI Club, what we do, we organize events with the institutions on specific domains or specific topics. And Dr. Vignesh is a champion of that vertical. He continuously organizes different activities under the banner of NDLI Club. I guess you can directly contact with Dr. Vignesh if you have very concrete proposal to have the NDLI Club to operate in your institution.
So we once again thank you for taking out time from your busy schedule, and sorry for this technical delay.
Oh, that is not your hand. So that is not anybody's hand. Again, I really enjoyed the entire session, and hope the things will be better and we will meet physically. That will give us more benefit and charm.
Sure. Thank you so much. So now I request Manu Gopal, who is the son of Balagopal ji, to propose the vote of thanks. Manu? Manu, are you there? Okay, I think his connectivity is also, I think, is there. So on behalf of the PN Panicker Foundation and the National Digital Library of India, we, sorry sir, my daughter has come in.
Those are now part of life. So
yes. So, yes. So we thank you so much for taking out time and being with us and sharing the very important aspect of the local language and natural language processing, and the various kind of resources that we can access it from the National Digital Library of India. We once again thank you, and thanks to all the participants for being here. I think there were about 250 participants here, and another 350 participants were there in the YouTube. So we had around 600 participants for this session. So in spite of the delay in starting the session, you were all there. So we once again thanks all the participants and our resource person, Dr. Plaban Kumar Bhowmick. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
So participants, I just have a couple of housekeeping announcements. So kindly, I'm just going to share the feedback form URL in the chat box along with the registration URL for this session. So first register yourself for the session and then submit the feedback form. Once you submit the feedback form, you will be able to download the certificate of participation. And for our YouTube viewers, I'm just going to share the feedback form and the registration URL in the comments box. So after the session is over, kindly wait for a few minutes. You will be able to see it there to first register yourself and then submit your certificate of participation. So with this, I'm going to thank each one of you for being here. And once again, thank you.